You know what? I remember one time, Max, I marveled at Damian Lillard shooting better than 40% from three-point range last year. Well, you know something? Steph Curry has never shot less than 40% from three-point range in his career, with the exception of last season when he only played 5 games. 5 games because the bubble halted the play. He was injured, and then after that he came back and then only played 5 games. His backcourt mate, Klay Thompson, all 8 years of his career in the NBA, he has never shot worse than 40% from three-point range. They're the greatest shooting backcourt in the history of basketball. And so for me, when I look at that and what they bring to the table, I certainly believe that, because I believe in today's day and age where the game is tailored around perimeter play, particularly shooters, I think that they are the creme de la creme. That's how I feel about them. Having said all of that, let me be also clear about this. Last night was a disgraceful performance, and Steve Kerr was absolutely right to point that out. 9 minutes and 38 seconds they went without scoring. The longest drought in about a decade. Got outscored 28-0 in that span, where they missed 18 straight shots, 9 of them three-pointers, okay? Those are historically bad numbers. And the other day I brought up about Andrew Wiggins on the jump when I said I'd give him away for a box of cookies. I'm not talking about his talent, because I know Andrew Wiggins has talent. But for every one game he's significant, there's 20 games where it ain't there. The numbers are there. But in terms of impact, this is a former #1 overall pick, and you just don't get much. And that's how I look at it. That would not be the case if Klay Thompson was there. And that's why I say what I say.
I don't want to underrate Klay's importance. He is a great player. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. He's a great two-way player. He's got size. And by the way, return of Coach Mackey, Stephen A. Steady Buckets, my daughter's basketball skills development program. Coach Mackey uses Klay to teach people how to shoot, right? He's perfect. I get it. It's not enough to make them contenders. And I respect your definition of a contender. You're saying 50-50 possibility there in the conference finals. You're right, that's a contender. If you would have said, well, they'll get to the second round, I'm not trying to hear that. That's not a title contender. You're saying, no, they got a good shot to make it to the conference finals. That's a title contender. I disagree, as presently constructed. It's not enough, Stephen A., because we're so quick to look at Steph and Klay and think of those old Warriors. Really, I thought the second most important player on those old Warriors pre-KD was Draymond. He was the pick-and-roll partner with Steph. He was the do-everything guy on defense. He was the reason you could play 5 out, because at that point he could shoot the 3. He can't shoot the 3 anymore. He's a little bit older. Iguodala's not there, who's another guy totally forgotten in that core. There was like a core 4 on that team, and Iguodala's totally forgotten. He's a great player. He's gone, right? So, and you're right, Wiggins ain't no Iguodala, even if Golden State's trying to sell him as a defensive stopper. No, he's not. Now, here's the good news for Golden State. As presently constructed, I disagree with you, Stephen A. They ain't doing anything in the West next year. They'll make the playoffs, maybe get to the second round, maybe not. However, who says they're going to be as presently constructed? They can go out and get a superstar with what they have. Let's not forget, if they miss the playoffs, they'll have a lottery pick, and possibly, and they have Minnesota's pick, which is top 3 protected this year, and then next year it's not protected at all, unprotected. They take the Minnesota pick, their own pick, Wiseman, Wiggins. They can get probably anybody. Does Karl Anthony Towns want to stay where he is in Minnesota if they have to give up their pick and they're going nowhere? Is Bradley Beal available? They'll be the team in the best position to swing a deal, and once they do, then they'll be contenders. But with the squad they have right now, they're not contending for a title next year, even with Klay.
Yes, they would. Yes, they would, because you're thinking about the squad that they have, and you're not thinking about the impact a player can have on how others look. You're not thinking about how the combination of Klay and Steph makes Draymond better as a point forward and even as a defender, because you're energizing. You're not soaking up all your energy trying to bring these young dudes along. You're thinking about Wiseman, who's 7 feet. He's only 19 years old. This was his first year in the NBA. Next year, well, guess what? Some of the physicality that he had to absorb this year, because all you had to concern yourself with was Steph. Now you got to worry about Steph and Klay, which is going to put him in isolated situations in a position to do damage. That's also going to leave some of the, or relieve some of the onus from Draymond Green's shoulders as well. And whether it's a Wiggins or an Oubre or whomever else that you have there, along with the young talent that they have, again, it's as great as Klay is, and he is a future Hall of Famer without question, first ballot, 3-time champion, all of that other stuff. The combination of Klay and Steph and the level of fright and sheer panic that they provoke in an opponent on the defensive side of the ball frees up everything, not just physically and literally, but psychologically as well, in terms of what it infuses in your teammates, what they're capable of doing, and how all of a sudden the onus that is on their shoulders is significantly less because you know what Klay and Steph can do and what burden that takes off of you.
Yeah.
All of those things play a role. I ain't even bring up free throw shooting as well, which is incredibly important as well. They couldn't even get to the free throw line last night. They didn't attempt one free throw in that 9 minutes and 38 seconds.
I had everything you set up. I had everything you set up. I agree. I think I agree with all of those points, actually. I'm going through them one by one. But you're still going to have to compete with the Nuggets, ostensibly next year, with a healthy Jamal Murray and an improving Porter. And, obviously Jokic. I don't know that what you just said is better than that Nuggets team. I don't know. This Jazz team is right there with the Warriors that you describe. Obviously, the Lakers, the Clippers keep getting better. I don't know whether everything you said could be true. That doesn't put them in the conference finals. I mean, you say 50-50. I say no conference finals for them next year unless they make a move. I think they will make a move, but as currently constructed, no.
I'm talking about presently constructed because we don't know what moves that they're going to make. But I said 50-50. You said no way, and then come back with a whole bunch of I don't knows. You don't know about Denver. You don't know about Utah.
Right, but add it all up, they ain't getting there.
I'm saying you don't know about all of those things. But I know about Klay and Steph, and so do you.
By the way, I didn't even mention Phoenix.
And
I
so
didn't even mention Phoenix.
Listen. They went to the final. They won 3 championships. You're talking about Klay and Steph when they had, again, Iguodala was an elite defender, but they had Jaja Pajulia. They had Andrew Bogut. I mean, they got all of that. I mean, now you go in a different direction with younger talent, more spry, fresher legs, and can do some things for you offensively. And combining that with Steph and Klay, please, I'm very confident in them. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.